I hate live service games. They're awful. I have never found myself excited for one since they became a thing. But what I have gotten myself excited for time and time again is the IPs that they attach themselves to like leeches. It is, in my opinion, one of the most damaging gaming trends that we have seen in a while. Probably since loot boxes, if I'm honest. And it is squeezing every last drop of goodwill from audiences just to make a few extra bucks, and it's starting to crack. If you haven't figured it out by now, we're talking about one of the biggest live service games to have come out, recently hitting 1 million players, and of course, it is... Before we begin, there are two things that I want to get off my chest. First off, I'm not a games critic. I just love talking about video games and being a nerd. And secondly, Dune Awakening, contrary to everything I'm about to say, is actually a really good game. Until it isn't. I have around 100 hours in Dune Awakening, and like a curse that has lifted, I suddenly have absolutely no interest in playing the game from out of nowhere. How can I invest 100 hours into a game and then out of nowhere, like a switch has flipped, suddenly have zero interest in it? Well, I hope you're paying attention because I'ma tell you. But before all that, it wouldn't be YouTube if we didn't have a good old plug, so you better lube up. If you enjoy any part of the content today, make sure to like and subscribe and help my teeny channel grow. You can also join me over on Twitch, where I play most of the games I talk about. There'll be a link in the description below. Thank you very much. I want to make something loud and clear before we get into the meat of this video, and it's mostly so I don't get bullshit comments from anime avatar accounts on my YouTube about how I should do nasty things to myself. So, let's make it crystal clear. Dune Awakening is the foundation of what could be a phenomenal game. It brought my friends together after a long hiatus of not playing games with one another, and I will forever be thankful for Dune Awakening and Funcom for doing that and giving me the opportunity to have friends around building a big ass base. But at the moment, this game is the Titanic, and that iceberg ain't moving. When people have asked me what I thought about Dune Awakening, I explain it like this. Dune is bowling, but with the guide rails up. You're still technically bowling, but you really don't have to try anymore. It is the definition of safe. In Dune, to fail, you have to fuck up so massively that the world basically eats you. You have to get your vehicle wedged between a rock and a hard place and a third thing because you have so catastrophically screwed up. And that is the only way that you can ever fail. For instance, let's take a look at the vehicles. You can slam your ornithopter into a wall, drive your buggy off a 100-foot cliff, or wrap your sandbike around the nearest point of interest, and all that'll happen is you'll just bounce off. They've removed any actual ability to fail, and in my opinion, failure is one of the things that makes gaming so much fun.
Alright. Overkill. Oh my gosh, it attached to your drone. Oh my gosh!
If we compare the safety belt design of Dune to something like Scum, which also released recently, you can see a clear difference between the two. Now I'm going to ignore everything else in Scum apart from the vehicles. You can find them littered around the map, and they're really important in terms of getting around, looting, etc. And as you get them, you'll get braver and braver in terms of driving them. However, eventually, the world will check your shit. And basically, you'll be driving as fast as you like to, and you'll lose control, and your asshole will tighten so hard you could shit diamonds. Now sometimes, you'll save it. You'll laugh, you giggle, you talk to your squad mates, and you tell them how much you nearly just browned your pants. And other times, you'll flip that bad boy so hard, there's no chance of recovering it. And then you have to have a small mental breakdown as you try and figure out how the hell you're going to get all of the loot back to base and explain to your teammates how you wrote off the only vehicle you've got. Now, nothing like this ever happens in Dune. Nothing unexpected ever comes your way. The entire gameplay loop is you just paint by numbers until you literally can't anymore. Another unfortunate aspect of Dune's design is that the survival element of the game really isn't there. You can probably pinpoint the exact moment where survival comes to an end and it just turns to thriving in the desert with your mates. The tutorial will guide you to where you can make your first ever sand bike, and this is an amazing moment. You feel badass. And then it will task you to cross the largest section of barren desert that you can see. And you know the worm is out there. You've been shown the worm. Prior to this point, you've had to run from rock to rock, squeaky bum cheek every time. And now you have to cross this giant space with nothing but you and this little sand bike to keep you safe. It is pulse pounding. It is stressful. Your brow sweats and you get excited because you can see the worm. You can see that little bar at the bottom of your screen. Everything starts kicking off. The adrenaline starts kicking in, and then you make it. And there's a sigh of relief and you're like, fuck yes, I've done it, boys. And you'll remember this point. You'll remember this specific feeling because it is probably the first and last time you're generally ever going to feel this way in this game. Because after that, the worm doesn't really become a threat. There's no wide open areas unless you get stuck in quicksand and abysmally fuck it up. And this becomes even less so once you get the buggy, and then even less so once you get the ornithopter, because then you just flit around, going all the places you need to go without even touching the sand. So the sandworm is pointless. In hindsight, looking back at my original video about Dune, what I thought was a blessing is actually kind of a curse. Vehicles make the map so small that exploration goes out the window. And let's not even talk about anti-gravity belts. In one of the streams I did, I made a point to try and climb to the highest point in the map that I could see. I had a great time doing it. Took me a little while to get there, but we finally did it and I felt awesome. And now I'm able to revisit that place without even trying, just by double tapping space and watching my character hover up like he's Aladdin and his magic carpet. And maybe it's just me, but I enjoyed the climbing aspect of it. I enjoyed having to watch my stamina drain and think where I could quickly duck into to hide. But now I just Mary Poppins my ass up there and never have to really worry about things.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
My first 30, 40, maybe even 50 hours were great fun. I was enjoying time with my friends. I was enjoying getting the base put together. I was enjoying exploring and seeing how things fit, and the tech tree upgrades were wonderful to unlock. I was taking my time. I was trying to 100% the map, but that is where everything started to kind of fall apart. And this is where the big question came into play, because I finished an entire area and then was like, what was the point? And that is the biggest question that I've come away with when it comes to Dune, and why I've fallen out of love with it immediately. What's the point? I don't mean that in all aspects of the game. I wanted to make a fantastic base because I found that entertaining. I wanted to do the quests because the story was interesting. I wanted to get the next tech tree because I wanted to see what I would unlock. The problem is, when I stopped to take in my achievements, I was met with the same question: why was I doing this? And sadly, I got two very disappointing answers. The first of which was story and progression. The story, as it stands, isn't finished. Funcom have said there will be more story beats to come in the future in later updates, meaning that for now, all we're left is a rather bad cinematic. And okay, cool. We've got more stuff to unlock, so that's fine, right? Well, not really. There are very distinct points throughout the entire game where each mechanic just kind of falls away a bit at a time. The survival stopped being a point relatively early. Exploration is next on the chopping block, and that kind of stops once you get the ornithopter and just hippity hop to wherever you want to go. And sadly, technology falls away around the 5th tier, aluminium. At this point, you're just making the same things, but slightly bigger with a few extra numbers attached, and most of the time, they might even not be worth it. The sandbike, for instance, becomes completely obsolete once you've got the buggy or the ornithopter, and there are 9 versions of this thing. None of them look visually different at all. The only thing that changes is the numbers go up. The only saving grace of the sandbike is it's just fun as hell to drive. And I think that is a big takeaway when it comes to the game is, yeah, it's kind of fun in some aspects, but when you look at the big picture, you're like, what is this fun leading to? What's the next thing? Where am I going with this? Also, unrelated, but kind of related, the Vulcan cannon, this big minigun that you can get in the game, I have never, in my entire gaming career, been disappointed by a minigun until Dune Awakening. What the fuck is that thing? And with those issues put out of the way, I still soldiered on. I still got to the end game. And as I said in my previous video, this is where I was worried. Unfortunately, and I'm so sad about this, I was right to be worried. When we come to the end game, we arrive at one of the biggest, if not the biggest issue with Dune Awakening. On paper and in principle, it's everything that I could ever want. An MMO battlefield with stakes and skills and characters doing different things, from flying ornithopters to manning ground turrets to having to try and steal spice from under people's noses. And the videos from the trailer make it look sick. But what we got was the Jurassic Park opening with a kazoo instead. At the time of making this video, the way it plays out is everybody and their mom jumps into a scout ornithopter and then just drills people with missiles because they don't weigh much, and apparently you've got an asshole like a clown's pocket where you're just popping them things up like suppositories. Now, let me be clear. Funcom have heard these complaints, and they are listening, which is a hell of a thing for developers these days. They are working diligently to fix it and improve the systems that so many people like me are moaning about. My only problem is, with all the AMAs and developer statements, etc., I still feel like I have more questions than answers, and I'm still concerned about where they're going to be going with this. And while they're doing this, I'll be honest, I'm happy to let them cook, because there's every chance that I'll go back to the game and enjoy myself. I will say it once more for those in the back. Dune Awakening is a good game at first. It's just too safe. It's still raw. Gordon Ramsay would be smashing the shit out of this if it was served in his restaurant.
It's raw, Melissa!
After 100 hours of Dune, I'm still out of spice. I had fun. I started playing games with friends again, and that means a lot to me. So thank you, Dune, for that. And maybe I'll revisit the game again with friends when it's actually finished. I do have to disclose that for the streams of it, I was sponsored by Dune. They gave me a free code to play it, and I bought another one to give away to friends. So huge and wonderful love to everyone at Funcom. I wish you the best of support and luck and power when it comes to making that game what you want it to be. I was so excited for it, and unfortunately, I'm just left wanting a hell of a lot more. Nerds, we've made it to the end. If you're still here, let me know by leaving spice down in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this week's video, even though it's basically just been me ranting about how disappointed I am about something I was very excited for. If you've enjoyed this week's video, like, subscribe, come visit me at your mum's house, whatever you fancy. I appreciate you being here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.
Pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple cause it feels like a lie.